Hello everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Joy White. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please, if this is the first time you're checking on my channel, kindly hit on that subscribe button and turn on notification bell so that you get notified whenever I post a new video. Thank you. So guys, in today's video we're going to be learning how to cut and sew this trendy Bubu kaftan that you are seeing. Is going to be having what? A shoulder pleat. That is what we are going to be doing. It's a cowl kaftan sort of with shoulder pleat. So I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into 4. Yes, I folded it into 4. I'm working with a Mikado fabric. That's what we are using for this tutorial. So I'm going ahead now to draw out the shoulder line. This is the shoulder line. So that is where we're going to be starting all our measurements from. So since I'm working with a Mikado fabric, the length I'm working with is about 59 inches, and this Mikado fabric is not up to 59 inches. So I'll just be exhausting the whole fabric. Yes, what I have there is about 58 inches. So I'll just work with what I have. So after taking the length of this fabric I'm working with, the next thing we're going to be doing is to take the shoulder measurement. So the shoulder I'm working with is 17 inches. So 17 divided by 2 will give us 8.5. So I'll go ahead and mark out the 8.5 that we have. So now, after folding my fabric into 4, what I have there is about 29 inches. So I'm working with a fabric of 3 yards. Yeah, this Mikado is 3 yards. You can actually work with 2.5, but because I want the sleeve to come down a bit, so I'm using 3 yards of fabric. So that's what I'm doing. So now I'm going to be taking the neck width. So I'm taking a neck width of 3.5, and for the neck depth for the back, I'm coming down with 1 inch. So I'm marking out the back measurement first before we go ahead to mark out what's the front measurement. So I'll go ahead and connect what we have, what I've taken, with my curve. So after connecting it, the next thing we're going to be doing is to go ahead and come down with 1.5. So I came down with 1.5, and after coming down with 1.5, I'll connect it to the shoulder point, the shoulder measurement, the 8.5. I'll just go ahead and rule it out this way. So after doing that, the next thing we're going to be doing, we're going to be taking what? The sleeve measurement. So this, for the sleeve measurement, it depends on how big you want the sleeve to be, the round sleeve you are working with. So I think I'm going to be going with a round sleeve of about 14 or 13 inches. So what I'm doing here is I just want to open upwards the sides. So at this point, the next thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be taking the round sleeve I am working with. So the round sleeve I am working with is 14 inches. I think between 13 and 14 inches. So that's what I'm working with. Then I'm going to come in with 2 inches. Can you see what I'm doing? So I'm marking in 2 inches. So as we progress, you will understand why. So after doing that, the next thing we're going to do, we are going to take from the shoulder to where I want the cowl to stop. So I'm marking from the shoulder to where I want the cowl to stop. So it can be the hip or the waistline. So I'm taking it to the hip measurement. So I think what I took here is 30 inches. So you just work with what you are working with. The measurement you are working with, the length is what will determine where the cowl will stop. So after taking the 30 inches, I went ahead to rule it out. So at this point, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to be working with our hip measurement, the hip circumference. So the hip circumference I'm working with is 45 inches. So 45 divided by 4 will give us 11.25. So I'll go ahead and mark out the 11.25, and I'm going to add an extra 3 or 4 inches to what I have there. So at this point, whatever measurement I took on the hip, I'm going to be extending it to the hem of this dress. So whatever figure I got on that hip, I'll be taking it down to the hem of the dress. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm taking it down, the 11.25 plus the 3 inches I added to the hip measurement. I'm taking it down to the hem. So after doing that, I'll go ahead and connect what I have here. So after connecting it, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to be connecting from that hip point. I'll be taking it to where I marked the 2 inches on the sleeve measurement, where I marked the 2 inches. So I'll be connecting it that way. So I'm not going to be connecting it using a curve. Remember I said this is like a cow dress sort of. So I'm not going to be using a curve, because if I use a curve, it's going to have like a dropping, an ear sort of it, an ear cowl. So what I will do, I'll be connecting it with my straight ruler. So that is what you see me doing now. So I connected it straight. Just, I'm not doing a curve. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. We're not going to be connecting it with a curve like we normally do when we are sewing what, drafting a cow kaftan. Yes, no. So but what we're doing now, we're using a straight ruler in connecting what we are doing now. So that is what I have done now. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to be doing at this point is to remove the inner, which is what, the back. We're going to be removing the back because we'll be working with the front. So I'll go ahead now and cut it out. So after cutting it out, this is what we have. So now at this point, we're going to remove the back. So what I'm removing now is the back of our dress, because we're going to be working with the front. Remember, the front is having a collar, or I can call it a placket. Yes, so we're going to be working with the front. So we just get the back out of the way, and now we're going to be working with the front. So in working with the front, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to be measuring what, from that point where we, from the shoulder point, we're going to measure where we want the opening to stop. So I'm going to measure 11.5. So 11.5, 12 inches is okay. So it depends on how high or how low you want it to be. So after taking that measurement, I'm going to go in by 2.5. I'll be going in by 2.5. So I'll just go ahead and place my tape, and I'll mark out what, 2.5. From that point, after taking the 11 inches from the shoulder measurement, 11.5, sorry, then I'll be taking 2.5. So I'll just go ahead and start marking out what, 2.5. So this 2.5 we're marking is for the collar. It's going to serve as a collar. We are going to be replacing whatever we will cut out with another fabric. Yes, so we'll replace it with another fabric to cut out what, the collar or the placket, whichever one you want know it to be. So that is what I'm doing now. So after marking out the 2.5, I'll go ahead and connect what we have. I'll be connecting it with my ruler. So that's what you see me doing. I'm connecting from that point where I have the, where I took the 11.5, 12 inches is actually what, okay, it's not too low. So you just work with whatever figure you are comfortable with, you just work with it. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is to connect it. Remember what we took for the neck width was 3.5. So I'm going to be connecting it from that 11.5. I'm connecting it with my straight ruler to the 3.5, the neck width I took. So can you see what I've done? I've connected it. So what I connected now, I'm going to be cutting off everything I connected here now. The 2.5 from the end, I'll be cutting it off to the shoulder point. This is going to go off, because after doing this, we're going to be cutting what the placket will be using to replace whatever we are cutting off now. So I'll just go ahead and cut it off. So after cutting it off, we're not going to be needing that again. So I'll go ahead and open up the front so that you see what we have. So this is what we have after we have cut it off, cut out the midpoint of the center front. So now the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to get the back of the dress we're working with, because we're going to be joining the shoulder. So the next thing we're going to do is to join the shoulder. So you're going to be placing the front and the back together. So this is the back, this is what we have. So I'll go ahead and place the front on it. So after placing the front on it, we are going to be joining the shoulder. You have to join the shoulder before we do any other thing with this dress. So I'll be using 1/2 inch in joining the shoulders, on both sides. I'll be joining the shoulder using what, half an inch. So I have gone ahead to join the shoulders. Can you see it? I've joined both shoulders, and I've also gone ahead to weave it. I use my overlocking machine to weave it. So that is what we have done. So the next thing we're going to be doing now is this. So we're going to get our tape. We're going to measure what we have, starting from the hem of this dress we're working with. You measure it round. We're going to remember, we're going to be replacing it with another fabric, so you have to know what you are going to be replacing it with. So I'll just go ahead and measure it out with my tape round from one end to the other end. Remember, we have joined the shoulder at this point, so it's after joining the shoulder you are going to measure what you have. So after taking the measurement, I am going to I think what I got was about 120 or 20 something inches. That's what I got. So after doing that, you are going to place your fabric together again. You are placing both fronts together because now we want to determine the midpoint for the center back. So this is what I'm going to do. After placing it together, you are going to notch the midpoint. I don't know if you understand, the center back, the midpoint, you are going to notch it. So this is my fabric I'm working with. I've already gone ahead to cut it out, and I've used interfacing on it. So what I cut out here is 6 inches. Remember, what we cut out was 2.5. So on fold it is 3 inches because I'm going to be using half an inch to join it. So that's why I added an extra half an inch to it. So what I have on fold is 3 inches, and if you open it up is 6 inches. So this is what I'm doing. I'm placing it together, this collar together. I'm going to notch the midpoint also. Remember, we have notched the midpoint on the dress, so you're going to still be notching the midpoint of the collar. So after notching the midpoint, this is what you are going to do. You are going to place both points that you have notched together. Can you see it? So I'm placing it together from the back. So after placing it together, we are going to sew it down. So this is what I have done. I've gone ahead to sew it down. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So just follow the process, you will get it. So after sewing it down, you go ahead and weave it. Use your overlocking machine to weave it, because remember, what we are after is neat finishing. So I've gone ahead to weave it, and this is what we have. So now the next thing we are going to do at this point, remember, this our dress is going to be having a pleat at the shoulder. So at this point, I'm going to measure out 4 inches. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm marking out 4 inches first before I mark out what I'll be using for the pleat. So after marking out 4 inches, so from that point I'm going to mark out 6 inches, because when I fold it, the pleat, I'm going to be having 3 inches. So I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So it depends on how much you want to pleat. So it can be 5 inches, it can be 4 inches. If you are working with 4 inches, that means you are pleating 2 inches. So I'm working with a figure of 6 inches. So when I hold it down, it's going to be 3. I'm pleating 3 inches on one side and 3 inches on the other side. So that's what I've done here. So I'm going to go ahead and do what? Pin it down, both points together. Remember, what I marked out was 6 inches. So whatever I'm pinning now, it's going to be at 3 inches. I'm going to be pinning 3 inches. You can even go ahead and use your tape measure to measure it down, to be very sure that what you are taking is 3 inches. Whatever figure you are taking, you can also go ahead and use your tape to measure it down. So this is what I'm going to do. I'll just go after pinning it down. Make sure you are pinning both points together. Where you have the shoulder line, make sure you are pinning both points together. So now I'm going to measure out from that shoulder point. I'm going to take it down. You can decide to take it down to 14 inches to 12 inches. It depends on how much you want to do or to pleat. So I'll just go ahead and mark out what I'll be pleating. What I'm marking out here is the 3 inches. Remember, I said you can also go ahead and measure it so that you'll be sure of the figure you are taking. So I'll just go ahead and hold it down with my pleat. So I'm going to go ahead and hold it down with my pleat. Another thing I want to say here is that you can work with your iron at this point. So as you are pleating, you can go ahead and iron it down so that it comes out what neatly. Or you can do what, tack it down with your needle and thread. So but I'm not going to be doing tacking in with needle and thread. What I will do is to use my hemming gum. I'm going to be using hemming gum to hold down this pleat. Yes, I don't want to tack it with needle and thread, but you can still go ahead and tack it down with your needle and thread. So I'm just trying to pin it down now to get an accurate what line. So after doing that, I'll just go ahead and take it to the ironing table. I'll press it, and I'm going to be attaching what hemming gum to it to hold it down. So I'll do the same thing for the other side as well, and when I'm done, I will show you what it's looking like. So guys, this is what I was trying to explain to you, that I want to use hemming gum on it. I don't want to use needle and thread. Can you see the difference? So this is what I have done. I've held it down using hemming gum. I went ahead to hold it down using hemming gum. I think I'm very much okay with this, instead of using needle and thread to just tack it down. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is to attach this piece to the sleeve, to the round sleeve. So what I cut out here, I also went ahead to add an interfacing to it for it to have a bit of structure. So that's what I've done. So I'll just go ahead and sew it down to the sleeve. I'll be doing it on both sides. So I've done it already, and this is what we have. Can you see how our dress is looking like already? So this is what our dress is going to look like when you're done with all what you are supposed to do. So now at this point, the next thing we are going to do is to place both collars together, or I can call it placket, so whichever one you are okay with. So you are going to place both together. I've gone ahead to join the side. I use what, the measurement for the seam allowance on the side. So now you're going to place both collars together, both plackets together this way. Can you see what I'm doing? So you're going to place it together, and you're going to measure from that shoulder point to where you want your opening to start from, to stop, sorry. So like I said earlier, I'm working with 11.5. I said 11.5, 12 inches is actually okay, but it all depends on how revealing you want it to be, how low or how high you want it to be. So you just play around with whatever you are okay with. So now I'm going to measure it, and after measuring it, at that point where I want the opening to stop, I am going to go ahead and pin it down at that point. So I'll just quickly go ahead and pin it down, because I'm going to be sewing it. So at this point, some persons work with a press button. It depends on how you want it to be. You want to make it 2-in-1, you can work with a press button, or you go ahead and sew it down. But I'm going to be sewing it down, and before I get to the hem, I'm going to leave out a space where I want an opening at the end. So I'll just tack it down at that point. Can you see it? You determine where you want, how you want the opening to be, whether 12 or 14 inches, it depends on you. So after doing that, I'll go ahead and fold the hem. I'm done folding the hem. I'll show you what this dress is looking like. So guys, this is what we have for our trendy Bubu kaftan with shoulder pleats. Can you see how beautiful it is looking? So I love the matching effect of the dress and the collar. I love the matching effect. Yes, it's actually blends so well. The two colors actually blend so well. So this is what we have for our dress. So can you see it's so beautiful? So guys, this is what we have. So please, if you find this tutorial helpful, don't forget to hit on that subscribe button and turn on notification bell so that you get notified whenever I post a new video. Like and share this video, make your comment. Till our next tutorial again, we'll be doing something else. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.